Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the SWR Darts Coaching podcast with me, Sean, a JDC Level 1 and Sight-Right accredited darts coach. I hope you're well. Couple of things really in this podcast. I haven't done one for a little bit, so I thought it'd be nice to finally get another episode out there. I think June was the last time I did one, and that was when we sort of chatted about the question of what makes a good beginner's dart, and obviously, I mentioned about darts and a bottle service. The next episode that I'm planning on doing, so episode 13, I hope to be chatting with Sam SWR from Sam SWR Darts Coaching. Sam's a fellow JDC coach, and he is part of the Yorkshire Youth Dart setup. And is a one-to-one darts coach as well, and a very good one, might I add. Does a lot of online coaching as well, similar to Brian that we had on another episode. So I'm looking forward to that one. A great opportunity to chat with another coach and get the views of another darts coach. But this episode, it's just something I wanted to briefly talk about. I've recently attended a few of the ADC Vault events, and I don't tend to go out and play a lot of darts anymore for my own reasons, but I have sort of tried to push myself to go and play some darts within the recent weeks, and I have attended a few ADC Vault events, and I just want to talk about my experience of the ADC Vault, I suppose, in this podcast, and obviously just my experience of going to tournaments as well. And another item I want to touch on in this podcast, and I know I've touched on it in past episodes, but it's been highlighted a little bit to me in recent times, is of course Darts Etiquette. So yeah, this episode is going to be about the ADC Vault, my experiences at the recent ADC Vaults, and Darts Etiquette. So hope that you enjoy this. It's only going to be a short episode, maybe about the 15-20 minutes or so, and then, as I say, the next episode that I'm put out will hopefully be myself chatting with Sam SWR, so look out for that one. So yes, the ADC, the Vault events, we're into the Vault 8 now. I think I attended my first ever Vault in 3, I think it was, or maybe 4. But for any of you that are out there that are probably unsure what the ADC Vault events are all about, so the ADC Vault events, as a darts tournament where it's capped to 24 players, and you are, if there are 24 players involved in the event, you're put into groups. So you're looking, if you've got the full 24, obviously 4 groups of 6. The one I've attended today, it was 20 players, so we had 4 groups of 5 players. You play each other once, so you play everyone in your group once. It's just best of 3, short format. Obviously, it keeps the games going quickly. I do believe some places, if you get below a certain number, they do best of 5. If it's low groups, I couldn't fully comment on that though, because I've not played that format. But yeah, the top 2 from each group go through to create a last 8, which is then a best of 5. And then obviously from there, you go quarterfinals, semi-finals, and into the final. There is a payout for the winner, depending on the venue, of how much they get. I think it's a minimum of a £50 win, but some venues have extra money put to the prize pot, which is nice. It's £6 to enter the event, all done online. So it's all done through a website called Darts Atlas. Now, I was familiar with Darts Atlas coming around the lockdown time. They came onto the scene. Really good website, to be fair. There was like practice games on there, etc. You can play other people online. But obviously they were the main use of Darts Atlas, of the ADC events. And the beauty of playing in an ADC Vault event for me, over playing in a pub tournament, is that you can track when you're going to be on. So you go on the website, it'll show you your group, who's in your group, it'll show you the fixtures, it shows you whose mark it is. Normally the first mark is a volunteered mark from someone who's not playing in the group. and then whoever loses stays on. Now, if you are if you play a game and you lose and you're on the next game, it does put you down to mark as well as play. But obviously common sense just takes over there and someone else will come and mark it for you, which is what obviously has happened today in one of my matches today. I was down to mark, I lost my game, and I was down to mark the next game, and I was like, I don't mind it, but one of the other chaps in our group stepped in and they did the mark for us. But it's a good run format. I've been to a Vault event where it's taken a long time to get through. I've been to a Vault event like similar today with 20 players where it was done in very good quick time. We started dead on 2 o'clock, and by sort of 3:15, all the group games were done and we were into the last 8. Sadly, I finished third in my group. I finished with a 2-2 record, so I didn't qualify for the quarterfinals. But nevertheless, I only went just for the trip out more than anything, just to get play some darts and just get out and about. But yeah, for anyone who's probably looking at these ADC Vault events and wondering whether it's worth them going to, 100% yes. Now, you can see who's entered. So if you go onto the Darts Atlas website and select the next event, that's in your area or local to you, you can see who has entered that event. Now, yes, that can put some people off, because some people will look at it and go, oh, such and such is there, he's a really good player, or such and such is there, oh, he's a top level player who's been on the modus and all that sort of stuff. If you're going to be looking at it like that, then, where are you going with your game, is what I would ask. The old phrase of, to be the, Brian Clough said it years ago in football, to be the best, you've got to beat the best. Darts is probably not too different. If you want to get your game going somewhere, play better players, play the best players. They'll also offer you advice, help. Believe me, they do. It's an opportunity sometimes as well to play players that you might see on the the Modus Super Series, or that are on the Challenge Tour, Dev Tour, etc. It's a great opportunity to play them, and you might take a leg off them, you might take a win off them. So yeah, don't look at it that way, is what I would say. Don't look at the entries and go, oh, such and such is there, such and such is there. If I draw them in my group, groups are randomised. So the groups, yes, you could end up in the phrase of group of death, if you will. But that's not the point of this. The point is going out there and playing some darts, and it's all structured as well. So it's when you're playing. In theory, the markers should stay. Whoever's marked, if you've lost, you'll be marking. You should stay by the board. We know it doesn't happen, but I encourage it. But the comment that they use, it's fast fire format, multiple games, big opportunities, and it is big opportunities because if you play in all the events, and you go to all the region, different events in your region, you can attend as many as you want. By the way. You don't have to just attend one at one pub. You can attend multiple events. You've got opportunities for qualifying for the under 65 average finals day. If you're under 65 average, the top 32 players in the region will play off in a Modus Super Series for a chance to go on TV, and also prize funds there as well. So yeah, it's a really good event. Run well. So the couple I've been to have been run really well. I have been to a couple where they've just sort of taken a lot longer than they should have done. Mainly because, players have gone outside for a vape, or, gone for wanders when they should be marking, so we've got to wait for a marker. Sometimes you can have it where your game goes all the distance. So every game goes 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. And, you're waiting for the markers again and all that. And you're waiting for players to come back from the bar, or, they've been out for a vape as well. I've had that one. So then it takes that little bit longer to get through them. But most of the places will go, right, Group 1 are done. Group 3 still playing. Let's take the next 2 players on Group 3 and put them on board 1 to get the game going and get the flow going again. A lot of the organisers will do that. And the organisers are darts players. You know, they are darts players. The scoring wise, so the scoring is all done using tablets. Now, I can hear some of the older generation maybe groaning here. Oh, you're not learning any maths if you're using a tablet. But it's good because the tablet then allows you to automatically see the score. So you can be, you know, sitting down at the table while 2 other players are playing. You can watch their game. You can see the scores coming in. But it is quicker. It does eliminate them moments whereby, you know, someone is struggling to do the takeaway and the adding up. You know, because not so much the adding up, the taking away side of it, it's all done for you. But everything's there on tablets, and I think tablets are the way forward. You know, we know the Pro Tour and the Challenge Tour, Dev Tour, etc. I believe they're all tablet based now. You know, a lot of the WDF events are now tablet based. So the ADC is no exception. You know, it's as long as your venue's got good Wi-Fi. Again, I've been in places where the Wi-Fi's been a little bit questionable. But again, the organisers are on it. You know, the moment you say to the organiser, listen, you know, the Wi-Fi's gone down, they'll be straight over and they'll be like, right, yep, a hotspot off my phone to get the game going again. So yeah, it just, everything's there. You know, I can't promote it enough, really. I think they're really good events. I would like to get to more. There's a reason I don't get out to as many that I probably could and should. And that's my own thing that, you know, I may talk about at some point in a later podcast episode. I don't know. But if you're sitting and you're thinking, I've been looking at these ADC events, these Vault events, I'm not sure if I want to go to them. My advice is just turn up and get to one. Get to one. Register online. So to create an account on Darts Atlas, I believe it's £10 to sign up for a 12-month period. So that then guarantees you, you know, you've got your account on Darts Atlas, and then it's £6 to sign up. Now, if you pay the £6 online, it's all done online. You can't pay on the day, cash on the day, and all that. It's £6 for a tournament to enter. If you can't attend that tournament, you don't get a refund, so you'll lose your money. So if you don't go, you lose your money. So again, you know, the incentive's there that if you've paid, you go. Again, I like that. It takes away from the organisers of the event, you know, waiting for someone to turn up and then going, oh, this is going to affect the prize pot and all that sort of stuff. So they don't have that issue. They know 15 minutes, 20 minutes before that event starts who's there. And all you do is you go up to the event organiser and you just say, you know, hi, you know, Sean, I'm here, and he just registers you that you are in attendance. Some of them will shout out the names with 15 minutes to go with such and such here, and if they aren't, they get scratched. They don't wait for them or hold it up. If it starts at 2 o'clock, it starts at 2 o'clock. If it starts at 7:45, it starts at 7:45. So yeah, again, visit the website dartsatlas.com, create yourself an account, sign up, and then after that, look at where your local ADC event is, or your local Vault event, and just have a go, see what you want, and let me know in the comments if you do go. Let me know how you find it. Do you find the fact that, you know, you can use the tablets to see the fixtures and the scoring and see when you're on? Do you find that better than what I was saying earlier? The old style pub events, you know, when I used to go before I left darts and went into football, you'd go in there, you know, give your name and you'd sign up, and then they do the draw, and then the draw's out, but then you'd be waiting round to hear your name shouted out. So you had to be in the room. I get that, but I've been at tournaments where I've sat there, I've been in the room, and I've not heard my name, and my name has been called, and I haven't heard it because of how loud the room is. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're getting the last call for Sean Rogers on board 4, last call for Sean, and it's like, you know, I didn't hear my name. Beauty of Darts Atlas is providing you've got the internet on your phone, not just Wi-Fi, but internet on your phone. You know, I can go on my phone and go, right, oh, that's my group. I'm on board 4, so I know what board I'm going to be on. So I can hover around that board if I want. But I can look and go, oh, I'm the third game on there. But I can track the first 2 games to see when they're getting done. So if the second game's gone 1-1, for instance, I know that there's one more leg. Then it's going to be me coming into play. So I can then go through my little routine if I want to. I can go to the toilet, I can go get a drink. I can then sort of start mentally preparing myself to go and play in the game. Not just waiting, around to wait to hear your name, so you're not sure when you're going up. So again, Darts Atlas and the ADC have built this way of doing the game, which I think is much better than the old school way of, the guy sitting there by the door with a pen and paper, waiting for people to come and tell him the result, and then shouting out the players' names for the next people to go on. I know it still happens like that at some events, and that's fine. But I think more and more now we're going to start looking at how, websites like Darts Atlas can help us. Dart Connect do the same principle. So I think these are going to become more and more prevalent in moving forward in darts. And again, the old thing of I can't mark. Well, I've had this at an event. A guy turned around and says, I can't mark. I said, okay, but when you're throwing, can you add up your scores? And he was like, yeah. He says, but I struggle with the taking away. So, well, that's the beauty of this. I said, you know what they've scored. You've only got to press the buttons on the screen, and it does it for you. He's like, yeah, but what happens if I make a mistake? So, well, we all make mistakes. But again, the beauty of this is that you just tap on the screen and you change it to what it was. Players are decent like that as well. They'll tell you if you've put the score wrong. The event I was at today, one of the chaps in our group, he did spread his darts around a little bit. Very much a 17s thrower, which is something that threw me a little bit. But he moved around the board dramatically, so he'd throw like a treble 17, and then he'd hit like a single 19, and then a bull. And I was like, all right, okay, we're moving around quite a bit here with your scores. But the other thing I noticed is whenever he was on an even number, he'd throw upstairs at 20 with his first dart. If he was on an odd number, he'd throw downstairs towards the 19s and 17s with his first dart. Very odd, I felt. But, again, it's just how players are playing these days. He was after looking to hit, around the 17s. He's obviously comfortable with 17s, 19s. But, again, I just said to him, is this what your score was? Yeah, bang, I enter it. So I've not got that issue of, sometimes that I get it up there when I'm marking, a little bit of anxiety. Have I got that right? Have I counted that up right? Now I've got to take it off. I've got to, as while I'm doing that, the guy's throwing and, the next score's coming in. Luckily with this, once you know your score that you've got, bang, bang on the screen, happy days, job's done. So yeah, that's my little sort of talk and waffle about the ADC and the Darts Atlas website. And like I say, just get to them. And the event that I've been today, the Darts Etiquette was on point. Really good. Players shaking hands, congratulating each other, talking about the game. Straight away, I did a thing a few weeks ago saying thank you, marker. I spoke about this on previous podcasts. I don't get it when people don't thank the marker. So I was at an event 3 weeks ago. I was the first person to mark. The 2 chaps that played, they threw. One guy won 2-0, and I turned around, I expected them to come to me to shake my hand, if you will, as I've marked it, and they both walked away, and I just stood there with my hand out, waiting for them to come back. And this guy went, "Are you all right?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, "I'm just waiting for them to come thank the marker." And he's like, "I don't think they're going to do that, mate." He says, "They've gone outside." I went, "Oh, well, I'll wait here." I said, because one of them's got marks, so when he comes back, he can shake my hand then. And he was like, "I don't see what you're doing." I was like, "It's just a bit of etiquette. Thank the marker. Thank your marker. Without a marker, you've got to do it yourself, and you don't want to do it yourself. You just want to be in the zone to play your darts." But I watched it around a lot of the other boards on that particular night as well. And there were people who just they'd hit the winning double, they'd turn around, nice one and all that. There was a couple of games where the opponent didn't even thank them. Wow. But today, the etiquette was good. It was on point. I got accused of being a slow player, which I thought was fantastic and hilarious. I'm not a slow player at all. I'm just rhythmical, as I call it. I've got my setup, I've got my routine to go through. I hit a double. It was my throw in the next leg. I retrieved my dart. I come back, and the guy was literally standing behind where I threw. So I just sort of walked behind him. He goes, "It's your throw." I went, "I know." I said, "I'm walking into my shot now. I'm walking into the border. So that, I'm sorry, mate, but can you just let me past?" And he was like, "What? Oh, whatever, mate, whatever." And he moved away. And then I heard him saying afterwards, "Oh, he's a slow player. He's done it to try and get, slow my game down and all that." I've not done it to slow anyone's game down. You're the one who wants to be rapid and go away with the game and stand on the back of my heel. I'm just playing my game. Watching James Wade recently in the match play, same sort of principle. You just play your own game. That's what you'll do when you're up there. You rush, you make mistakes. You take your time. You be rhythmical. Go through your breathing, go through your pre-shot warm up, walking into your shot, etc. That's just what I encourage, and that's what I do. I don't think the chap was too happy. I won 2-0, so I was happy. I don't think he was too happy though. But listen, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I've got my way of playing darts. He's got his way of playing darts. We don't all do the same. So the fact that I'm slow and steady did win the race in that particular game, but I got into his head. So you could all talk about the dark arts of the game there, if you will. Nothing to do with dark arts, that wasn't. That was just the way I played darts. I like to rhythmical my 3 darts out. When I throw that 3rd dart, I'll let it hit the board. I'll then walk down the hockey to retrieve them. I shall retrieve them all at the same time, where possible. If I've gone upstairs, downstairs, etc., I've got to get 2 from there, 1 from there. I shall retrieve my darts and walk out the marker's side. And as I'm doing that, he'll rapidly throw his 3 darts. Well, at that point, then I'm going to walk all the way back to behind, the spot that I would stand in, wait for him to clear the dartboard, and then walk into my shot. And apparently that was being classed as a slow player. That's his opinion, certainly not my opinion. My opinion is it's just a player getting ready to play darts and walk into his shop. So that was an interesting one today at the ADC event that I attended. But yeah, again, Darts Etiquette was on point, and I do believe it is something that is getting more and more lost in the game. Thanking your marker and going over and just being thankful for the fact that someone's marked your game of darts. Be thankful for that. But yeah, it's just a little rant I wanted to finish on there, I suppose. So yeah, thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. So if you are thinking of going to an ADC Vault event, there's a few weeks left of this Vault 8, I think. I'm not quite sure. I think there is a few weeks left, but then obviously there's normally a little break of about a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, I think, and then Vault 9 will start. But if you go on Darts Atlas's website and if you click the search button, once you create your profile and you're in there, you click the thing. You can click on what you're looking for: places to play, tournaments, and organisations. So if you click on the tournaments. You can then put your location and say that you want tournaments within 25 miles of that range, starting sort of, as of today, and it will then give you the list of tournaments that are up and coming. And then all you do is you find the tournament you want, you click on that tournament, it'll tell you all the information. If the register's got a line going through it and it says sold out, that means there's already up to the maximum of 24 entries, which, some do. If the tournament is being played on a Sunday night at 7:30, I believe it's 7:31 that night, the tournament registration opens for the following week. So you can then log on and register for the following week. But most of the time you'll click on a tournament, hopefully anyway, and it'll show register for £6. Again, you can see the entries, you can see people who have entered, but you can just click on the register for £6 and then enter that tournament, and then you're guaranteed your spot. And as I say, if you can't make it, contact them, let them know, but unfortunately you won't get your money back. They will try and fill that with reserve. I've been to tournaments where they've had reserves, and they've managed to fill them, but I've also been to tournaments where they've just not been able to do that. So if you are going, and you register, attend. And then obviously if you lose, stand by the board and mark. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. If you've enjoyed it, let me know your thoughts in the comments. as I say, next episode, I really am hoping that I can nail down a time with Sam SWR to get a podcast episode done with him and get his insight into darts coaching. If it's not on the next episode, it will be in a future episode. I've also got a couple of players I'm going to be talking to who have been coming to me for coaching recently. So I'm going to be talking to them, getting them to tell you about their experiences of darts coaching, how they found it coming to me, what they got from it, what they've not got from it as well. Because as I've always said, you know, players take what they need to from my darts coaching, but I don't put everything, you know, make them the player. They don't leave my room and then go and win events and tournaments. It takes time. And I've spoken about that in the past on these podcasts. So, but I'm hoping to sit down with a couple of players that I've been coaching with recently and get their thoughts on how they found the coaching, just to give you guys who listen more of an insight into what darts coaching is all about. So thank you very much for listening. Don't forget you can find me across all the socials. Just search for SWR Darts Coaching. Visit the website swrdartscoaching.co.uk and book in there. There's also all the practice games on there. My latest practice game, which comes out, I believe it's number 70. Really good fun one. We've been having great fun with this one recently down in sessions. But they're all on there. If you've got any questions about the practices or the practice schedules, again, drop me an email, send me a message across social media. I'm more than happy to talk about them and help you understand better of how to get more from your darts practices. Again, thank you very much for listening, and I will speak to you on the next one. Take care, folks.